Coming up on Big Ten today, our crew is in Southern California to see what camp is like for the Trojans, why there's reason for optimism for the fourth year of Lincoln Riley. Top 10 ranked Iowa women's soccer has a mega matchup coming up on Thursday, so we catch up with their head coach for a one-on-one chat. And we threw a mic on James Franklin as the Penn State football head man walks into his most highly anticipated season of his career. It's all on Big Ten today, now. Hi there, Mike Hall here. Glad to have you with us in our Chicago studios for another edition of Big Ten Today. Fun half hour coming your way as we continue to count down to the beginning of the 2025 football season. Just over a week. Next Thursday is when Big Ten footballs will be in the air. Our big story today is a focus specifically on USC. That is a team that won 7 games last year. Offense was pretty darn good with 30 points a game. Defense, not as much. Turnovers, also not as much. Holding on to a late lead was certainly an issue as well. So what's going to be the deal this year? We head out to Cali to check in with our crew on site. Guys?
Mike, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been interesting to see USC being built and heading into year 4 under Lincoln Riley. As you said, the foundation was set a year ago, but 7 wins last year. I mean, everybody knows it. That's not the standard here at USC, a place that's won 11 national championships and 25 Rose Bowls. So, Yogi, as you look big picture at where things are right now after spending the day with them, where do you think this rebuild is at?
I think it's trending positively, and I think you got to put context into it. I get what fandom is, and I understand it from being here, Ash. Like, SC fans expect to win, want to win, and they should. That's what makes this place amazing, beautiful, one of the most iconic places in all of college football. And 2 things can be true. I mean, they're a handful of snaps away from having a completely different record a year ago. So here we go. The keys of the car are given to Jaden Mayava, right? He got it with 4 starts last year. You look at the game against the vaunted SEC and Texas A&M, looked pretty good in that Las Vegas Bowl. And today, my number one takeaway is he looks like a real one. I mean, he was really impressive. After talking to Lincoln Riley, members of the staff, and they're extremely confident in him, and they should be, partly not just because of his ability, because of the wideouts, the improved running backs, the offensive line. I mean, all of the parts, I think when you look at the starting 22 on offense and defense, I think you'd feel really confident coming away from today. One
of my biggest takeaways from everybody we talked to was Lincoln Riley saying one of the biggest difference for Jaden Mayava is, and obviously he knows what's expected, but the comfort level with him and Lincoln is different than it was a year ago. He said he's not just trying to please me. You know, he's telling me, like, this is what I like, this is what I'm comfortable with, and there's more of a direct dialogue than there was in the past.
Well, look, we've talked about this before. I think the quarterback position, it's the most sensitive position in sports. Why? Your whole life, you've been coached up on every snap. You get feedback on every single play. The left guard, not so much, right? The wideout, not so much when it's a run away from you. Quarterbacks, that's the deal. So you want to please your coach all of the time. And quarterbacks, and they've all done it here. I remember when Liner went through it, when Booty went through it, when Sanchez went through it, Barkley went through it. You all go through it. Darnold went through it. You get to a point where you drop your shoulders a little bit. You say, okay, I belong. I belong here. And that is a challenging process. You got to go earn that. And the way you earn it, to me, is not only the work you do here, but it's how you talk to yourself. And when I watch Jaden Mayava play, the way he's communicating with himself around the craft and then sharing that information with Lincoln Riley, as he shared with us, is totally different than it was against Nebraska in his very first start a year ago at USC.
They lose Woody Marks. Obviously, he's a 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. He was a big piece of this puzzle, but they've got a 3-headed monster in that running back room. We had a chance to talk to Wayman Jordan Jr., who's a phenomenal interview, much better than I am with words. But I think that it all starts up front with the offensive line, which is a place that Lincoln Riley has spent a lot of time trying to get right.
Yeah, this is a storyline that it probably will go under the radar, and it didn't hit me till we were watching practice today. I ran over to you and Coach Gennardo. I said, you know what? This offensive line, potentially, they might not have a starter that came out of the portal. That was year 1 when they rolled here at USC with Caleb Williams and went to the Heisman and won the Heisman. Year 2, they had Caleb back. They tried to patchwork the offensive line. Lincoln Riley told me in this very room over the summer, that was a mistake. And then they went and they flipped the defensive staff and they started really recruiting, developing in high school. And they've done it in the offensive line. Look at both tackles. Elijah Page on one side, Tobias Raymond on the other side. These are 2 guys they found in high school, and as he shared with us, continue to develop. And they're premier tackles. They might even be able to kick inside if they had to. So I like the group up front. I just don't know yet if they have all of the depth that the Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon has from just a sheer number standpoint. But that's part of a rebuild. That is part of the foundation. And the hardest part, as we know, is garnering those bodies up front. So I look at the first group, Ash, and I say, okay, this group can get it done. Can they stay healthy? Schedule 2 byes. After 5 games, play 2, then another bye. It kind of sets up nice. So if they can stay healthy, the Trojans will have a chance to make some noise.
Well, and I think, and Lincoln Riley's talked about this, that the trenches are the hardest area to rebuild and to recruit to. There's all skill guys everywhere you look, that you can try and get. But building the foundation of your trenches, which is the most important thing, obviously, for any team, building it from the inside out. The defensive side, the D-line is going to be a strength of this team.
Yes, and we have not said that in a long time here at USC. I mean, they've had the Leonard Williams of the world. They've had a couple players, but you look across the board, that first group in the front 7, you're saying, ooh, these guys look the part. They practice the part. It's a physical group. I think Cameron Fountain has a chance to be a true breakout player as an edge rusher, an impact player. Devin Tompkins, we had a chance to talk to him. He's the guy leading the charge right now on the offensive line. Abe Lucas, can he finally become the body type that we see him coming off the bus? And I think he's close, Ash. I think he's a guy that'll turn the corner. The sense of urgency for him, I think, has been felt. He's been close in the backfield. I wouldn't be shocked if game 1 he's got his first sack here at USC. And then the linebackers, Eric Gentry, he just makes things challenging. Kamari Ramsey in the back end. So I think at every layer in the starting defensive unit, I think they're impressive. I really do. So health will be the number 1 priority for this year's USC Trojans.
The other thing I want to get your take on, because as you look around here, it's not just rebuilding the roster, but it's rebuilding the facility, the new Bloom Football Center. I mean, we've seen it go up, and it's unbelievable how much progress has been made. They hope to have it open, within the next few months by the end of the calendar year for sure. But what do you think that allows a place like this to do? 160,000 square feet. Yeah. I mean, it's massive. And given where college football is going, this may be one of the last great big facilities that is built.
Well, I can remember when we were over in Heritage Hall, which is nowhere near an appropriate facility in major college football, but didn't really matter at that time. Then they moved into the John McKay Center we're in right now. And the place you just referenced, 7 of the John McKay Centers can fit into that place. So what is it going to do? Number 1, it's going to catch up to the times. I think SC and LA has always had talent. It's always had draft picks. We all know those numbers. You rattled them off a few times today. I think overall, now they have everything that you possibly can need. Right, we're in a new era of college football. They've got a GM, they have a front office, they have an electric head coach, one of the most dynamic play callers in the country. They have a defensive coordinator that everybody would love to have on their staff for the most part, and they have. That's why he got an extension again this offseason, and they're always going to be in the fertile recruiting area. So you add in that facility. To everybody's point, like this thing is close, and I think that is going to be an element that will allow this thing, once it turns, if they can win those close games this year, Ash, I don't see this thing slowing down.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to watch, and I know USC fans are excited to watch August 30th, the season opener on the Big Ten Network against Missouri State, and I'm excited to listen to it because you, Guy Haberman, and Rhett Lewis will be on the call. Do you love it, Mike Hall?
How could I not, Ashley? You know what? I also love these training camp shows are not done just yet. Here's what's coming up the rest of this week. On Thursday, we check in with the Spartans. You can see that at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific. And then on Friday, we end with the Michigan Wolverines. That's at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. Back here on Big Ten today, let's turn our attention to the pitch. Iowa soccer had a very impressive win over top 10 ranked Arkansas just last week. It was the first regular season home loss for those Razorbacks in 4 years. Hawkeyes have another big one coming up tomorrow. So Rick Pizzo had a chat with their head coach for today's big interview.
Well, Coach, let's start with what was a fantastic start for your team, knocking off number 6 Arkansas. I know you were ranked as well. A lot of expectations on your team this season, but Arkansas hadn't lost in Fayetteville for some 4 years. So what was the mindset and the approach heading into an opener like that on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think upset is a good word. I mean, it might be the most difficult place to play in the country, and when you add the fans and the style of play. So I think for us, it was this is a beginning of a home and home. So we have a lot of respect for Arkansas and what they do in the top 10 in the country. Colby Hale's done a great job building a perennial top 10 in the country program down there. But for us, we needed answers quickly. I think, the Big Ten is the deepest conference in the country, in my opinion. And I think for us to be able to be considered to NCAA tournament perennial, program, I think we need to face challenging opponents with challenging styles and learn lessons early on in the season, which we did. Even though we won 3-2, there are some things we wish we would have got back there. But I'm very proud of our group, and to win down there, you got to commit to the cause for 90 minutes, and I thought our women did that.
So, Dave, what did you like most about the way your team played? And to follow up on that previous answer, what lessons did you learn?
Yeah, I like how we played. I thought that even though that we gave up 2 goals, I thought our style, tactically was pretty similar for the entire 90 minutes. I thought they were committed to doing that as a group. We know that Arkansas is going to come out and press really quickly, and our biggest thing was about trying to break through the first 2 layers and get it into the higher spaces for us with our attacking players, and then take some risks underneath their back line. I thought we did that on a pretty consistent basis. I thought we controlled a lot of the tempo, and anybody who's played at Arkansas before, let alone at home, that's very difficult to do. And I thought defensively, I thought I started with our front line. We did not allow their back line to be able to just play balls into their front runners, which is where they live in transition. So, but ultimately, I asked our kids not to go in there and get bullied. They had to be committed. They had to physically match the intensity, and the results would play out for themselves, and that's how it worked out.
Obviously, you scored enough, and you kept Arkansas off the score sheet well enough. And that was going to be a challenge because after last season, you said goodbye to the winningest goalkeeper in program history. So Taylor Kane steps in and gets the start. How would you assess start number 1 for her?
Yeah, I think, we've got quite a battle back there in terms of who's going to replace Macy King, who was here for 5 years. And with regards to how Arkansas played and how Taylor is training, we thought that was the right fit for us. I think she probably wants that first goal back in terms of her starting point. Great shot by Arkansas on a set piece, but I thought she managed the game really well. Each goal didn't spin her. I thought she managed her emotions, and our back line in front of her were very composed as well. So I think it's going to be a nice battle throughout the season, but I'm really proud of Taylor and how she handled herself in a very difficult situation on the road in Fayetteville.
And now your team has a chance to start not just 2-0, but with 2 wins over ranked opposition as you play against TCU on Thursday night. Match that can be seen right here on the Big Ten Network. Give us a preview of what you're expecting from the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Bell, what he's doing down there with that program is not much different than what Arkansas is doing in terms of always finding themselves in the top 15 in the program. Very, very athletic. The teams will be different in style. Arkansas wants to get the ball forward as quick as possible, very direct, skip out the midfield, and then try to open you up. TCU has no problems wanting to play out of the back, a little bit more methodical on the floor, but nonetheless just as athletic and just as dangerous in the attack when they open you up. So we're real excited to be able to bring them to Iowa City. If I am anywhere within an hour and a half of Iowa City, I come see this game because it's going to be 2 very well-coached teams, very committed teams to their style, and I think it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, and if you can't get to Iowa City, remember you can see it right here on Big Ten Network. Dave, you're talking obviously glowingly about 2 other programs and their coaching staffs. I'm sure they would say the same about you and your staff. You've transformed this program into one of those teams that every year is expected to be inside the Big Ten race and certainly expected to be part of the NCAA tournament. How have you gotten there?
Yeah, I think good people. I think that, we've had a lot of really good people on our staff, good coaches, teachers, mentors that love the game, that build relationships, are invested in the process, are growth minded, and we not only have a staff filled of those individuals, but we fill our roster full of women that want to be great as student athletes. And to be great, it takes time, and you need to invest in the process. And so we feel like we do a great job across the country in terms of developing players that come in as freshmen and they leave as seniors at different levels. They've gotten better in all areas, both as people, but also on the field. And then they're getting a great Big Ten degree. So we're a very, very growth-minded, development-based program that, and I think you see that in a lot of sports at the University of Iowa. The coaches, they're teachers. They want to build a good culture, a strong culture that develops within, and then fights really hard, to be a Hawkeye. And I think ultimately, success breeds success. We've won enough good games across the last 5-6 years where they believe in the process and they believe in what they're representing, and it's really exciting to see them reap the benefits of that.
And have another chance for one of those quality wins Thursday night with TCU in town. Dave Dilanni, congratulations so far. I know it's early, but obviously some great things on tap for Iowa women's soccer coming up through the course of the 2025 season. We appreciate the time. Best of luck on Thursday night.
Thanks very much for having me.
You can see Dilanni and the Hawkeyes Thursday night in that matchup of top 10 teams. 7th-ranked TCU heading to Iowa City to take on the 9th-ranked Hawkeyes. The can't miss showdown. See it Thursday, 7:30 Central Time here on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. The reigning national champions in football have announced their captains for this coming season. Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs, future NFL stars among the group. OSU, of course, hosts Texas in the marquee Week 1 matchup nationally. Here's Ryan Day for more on that.
You're going to hear me. I'm like a broken record. We got to make those routine plays routinely, keep us on schedule, and then really play well in the situations. And that's it. We can sit around and talk about all the what ifs, but let's go, man. We put a lot of work into this thing. You think about all the different practices we've had, time to go put it on the field and let it rip. And you got to trust your training when you're out there. That's the reward for all the preparation and training, is that you can go play with confidence. It's like when you walk into a test. If you haven't put the preparation in, you're nervous. If you know what's going on, then you walk right into that test and go. And we need to continue to do that and talk to these guys when we get into these moments. What's going short yardage, man. We got to find a way. We got to knock the line of scrimmage back. Running back's got to get downhill. Red zone, 3rd down. Just win, baby. That's it, man. Just win. Find a way to win. One more point than them. If it's, 14-13 or 65-64, we got to find a way to win. That's it. That's all that matters. And we're not going to worry about the what ifs and all that other stuff. We're gonna let it fly. And I said that to him today, and said the same thing to Lincoln. We're gonna let this thing go when we're in the game, and that's it. And we're not going to worry about all the other stuff, because we know that the expectation is to win every game. But in this game, find a way to go 1-0 on Saturday night. That's it, and we'll go from there. I said this to the team before. Every season, each team has their own story to write. Last year's story's been written, and here we go. We're about to start the new one, and you just don't know where it's going to go. It's going to be a long journey, but we got to stick together, and it's got to be about the brotherhood, like it always is.
Meanwhile, James Franklin is in charge of everything in State College, on the football field, that is, not near Agua. Look at the gold swan in the background, just watching all, doing nothing. He's getting picked on. Not nice, guys, not nice. Where are the Ellis lifeguards when you need them? Anyways, here's Franklin in practice recently, mic'd up.
Here we go. Good, high. Catch it clean. Get your depth. No, you didn't get your depth. Go another rotation, Rap. Good. Now we're talking. That was the route. Yeah, stop being nice. Head up. That's a good job, Tyson. You notice I only really mess with the small guys. Them big guys come through. I leave them alone. Line up like you just did. We're assuming that this guy's blocking down on the threat we have on the inside gap, so don't avoid him. Stay as tight to his hip as possible, knowing that he's going to step down, and now you got a shorter distance. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. What's up, brother? God, it's a beautiful night in here, huh? Good. Stay, don't drift outside the cones. Man, I'm so proud of you, how you're practicing right now. Keep doing it. I love it. We're jogging wherever we're going. I like how you pressed it. Quentin, I like how you pressed it. Next period, let's go. Get where you're going. Stop walking. Let's go. Go up and get it. Beautiful, Cunningham. I love the ball location. All right, so couple things. It's great to get in the stadium and get to work. We need it. The coaches need it. The players need it. Take care of your body. Be out here competing. I love what we're doing, but we got to be smart. We got to handle our business consistently. Everybody got me? Any other questions or comments?
Penn State opens the season with Nevada at home. They actually don't play away from home until the 6th week of the season. What is the most anticipated year for Penn State football this century? Again, 2 more camp shows coming your way this week with Michigan State and Michigan. That'll do it for us. I'm Mike Hall. Thanks for watching.